Alright guys, TacticalRab here again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News. So much to dive into today, not just on the VCT new map that's going to arrive for the new season, but also the tier 2 side, what the plan is for Ascension, and where the big LAN tournament for it, which has now been revealed, might potentially be held. Very much intrigued your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, hear from ShahZaM, lessons learned in 2022, keep pushing forward. So yeah, saying he probably learned a lot from the Sentinels drama of last season, or maybe take those lessons into the G2 situation with dapr, who's now 24, so happy birthday to dapr for yesterday. I'm officially washed and old. The Jordan year is over for dapr, so, you know, maybe they can still perform on G2. I'm sure they can. Now, firstly, Sentinels thought was pretty funny. Goals for 23, win a game or two, so, you know, maybe social media have a slightly different opinion on their intentions to be the best team and the best content team in the world. Get Sassier shampoo brand deal, figure out who Evil Geniuses is. It's funny, really, the fact that, like, even myself, I forget that EG even exist at times, to be honest. Like, yes, they are a franchise team and they have a pretty decent roster, but, you know, they're not on anywhere near the same level in the kind of mind space of the scene as Sentinels, NRG, Cloud9, and 100 Thieves. Maybe we'll see more EG kind of titles and players going forward, but it's not looking too optimistic right now. That's Sick the movie, Zom's Brazilian citizenship, and then avoid Carlos for, you know, reasons you might be able to guess. Now, quickly on DRX here, because you guys might remember that this logo is the same, I think, as the old logo, but it's now a different color. So this is the old logo that DRX have had for some time, and this is the comparison, of course, to the new logo, which is the same, but they've changed the color a bit. So I think this is coming maybe from the ownership group of DRX, which is, I guess, DRX Global. So they're kind of coming down for this. I don't really know why, but you know, still, DRX used to look like this. Now it looks like this. So congratulations to everyone involved. It's kind of that meme, if you guys know it, where the Japanese changed their flag at some point, and it just went from the Japanese flag to the Japanese flag with a very slightly different shade of red, I think, which is kind of what DRX have done with this brand new logo, which, well, they're not really calling it a brand new logo, to be fair. They're just saying new color vibes, but still, that's what DRX are doing. Weird update, but I thought I'd share it regardless. Now, this is the big update for me, and the interesting one, which is, well, as they say, January the 5th, 2023, where the reveal trailer is apparently going to be for this new map. Now, we saw the other day, they were describing this as a temple map. This is what we have last night, and, I mean, look, first of all, it's kind of got split vibes in a way, just because, you know, the tall building, city center, that type of stuff, but it's clearly not split with the architecture, and that we've got Fade in the middle, we've got some characters on the outside, we've got this guy here, we've got this guy here, so, pretty interesting. Obviously, there's nothing you can read into this. I don't really care what the map design looks like, and what the architecture is, or whether it's raining. All I really care about is the map layout and the design, but also I guess it must be said that the fact that there's these windows up here maybe indicates that there's some element of verticality in this map that there might not be on other ones, so, I mean, look, until I see an overview of the map, that's really where I'm going to comment on whether it's going to be good for competitive or not, rather than something like this. But, you know, still, there is a new map arriving, and I guess this does kind of confirm the idea that Breeze and Bind out means that we're going to get split back in and this new map, which will mean that the map pool going into the VCT for even Sao Paulo will look very different to what we had even 12 months ago, right? When there's a couple of new maps arriving now. Pearl was not long ago, and now we've got another new map coming in. So the reveal date, or the release date, for the trailer, sorry, is going to be this. I think Thursday actually was confirmed. That is when the 5th is. Gameplay should then be this weekend, and then map releases next week. So 1 week from today, I think it's going to be on the 10th, right, is when this map comes out, in addition, I think, to the return of Split. So I think it's the 6.0 update here for Season 6, whatever exactly they call it, and that's next Tuesday, I think, on the 10th of January, and that's when this map's going to come out as well. So pretty big deal, right? The fact that a week from now, we are going to get an entirely new map arriving, we're going to see some gameplay for it, and then it's going to align with, yeah, even PBE is this Friday, so the public beta environment where people have access to the PBE can play on this map, and we're going to see many things about this map coming soon, and we'll see if it's actually any good or not, because Fracture obviously caused its share of controversy, as I think it's pretty good now, but I had to make some serious tweaks to it. Pearl, I'm not a massive fan of, but still, it's okay, and I was getting kind of tired of binds. I'm not really too bad with that going, but still, it's good to have the flexibility and the flux in terms of which maps come in and which maps are gone, and apparently, as VALORANT say, Split is coming back again with the 6.0 update, which is the same update next Tuesday on the 10th of January. So apparently, yeah, next Tuesday we're going to get Splits back with some changes, and then we're going to get this new map, whatever it's called, and they are going to be the two maps presumably replacing Bind and Breeze going into the upcoming VCT season. Now, the tier 2 qualifiers that are happening in just a few days' time, starting on next Monday, those don't align the same way with this with these map sets, right? They're still playing on the old map set with, I think, Bind and Breeze still in. So a bit confusing for them. They're going to qualify for the season on the old map set, and then immediately they're going to have to start practicing on the new maps again, and we'll see how different Split is when it returns. Split, I thought, was a very solid map. I really enjoyed watching Split. Let's just say it was okay to play, but not fantastic. But I'm certainly looking forward to having it back. Now, let's talk about that Tier 2 then. So the plan is for Tier 2, either get invited straight to challenges, as we believe 6 teams have done, we saw a couple of days ago, or qualify through the qualifiers, which, as I say, start next Monday. So Ascension, first of all, is right at the end of the year. Let's just say the Americas, for example. You've got to be one of the 12 teams that gets into challenges. That should be doable if you're any good. Then you've got to do well enough over the 2 Split and the mid-season tourney of the season to then get through to the playoffs, right? If you're the top 8 out of 12, then you get to playoffs. Then you come top 2 at the NA playoffs, which is probably going to be online. Then you go to Ascension. So what did frustrate me a lot of last season, even in the Tier 1 side, was that so much of the action was done online. There were very few LAN events, really, even for the pro teams last year. This year, thankfully, the Partnership League is going to be done. All the Tier 1 team splits are going to be done on LAN at the venue, either in LA or in Berlin or in, I think it's Seoul, right, in Korea, where the Pacific League is going to be held. And that's what happens. Basically, everything they do is going to be on LAN. Now, for Tier 2, it makes sense. A fair bit of it is going to be online. It's understandable. I wish there was a bit more LAN action, because probably the playoffs that qualify you for Ascension might still be online. But thankfully, Ascension, at least, the actual big tournament that is determining which 3 teams, I guess they're going to do one per region, one tournament per region. So, one team per region qualifies up to the Partnership League, the Tier 1 sides for the 2024 season. That is thankfully going to be on LAN. As Bo describes, and yes, they will be LANs, currently hearing the budget could be the same as the Masters events. So we know the Masters events, pretty big events, big budget, going to be a similar story for Ascension. So Ascension is going to be, let's just take the Americas region, not exactly sure how it works elsewhere, but it's going to be rather similar. In the Americas Ascension, so 1 team wins, there's 8 teams attending, 2 from NA, 2 from Brazil, 2 from Latin America North, 2 from Latin America South. So arguably pretty tough on NA, but at the same time, if you're not top 2 in your region, then you're probably not going to win Ascension anyway. But still, thankfully, it's kind of confirmed now, at least leaked by Bodog, but this is good accuracy. And if he says that, like it's going to be Masters-esque budget, it's going to be a LAN event. And as he says, should be revealed in a couple of months, but definitely hype. So maybe he's heard about where the event is going to be held in the Americas in general, but he's obviously looking forward to it being announced wherever it's potentially going to be. So that's the update there on the Ascension side, kind of confirming that thankfully at least those events are going to be LAN events throughout the world. I think it would be nice, ideally, in an ideal world, if the playoffs for each region were also on LAN, just so the real best teams in that setting can actually qualify, because online is always a bit of a mess and always has its fair share of problems, and to, be eliminated for qualification to Ascension because of something like that wouldn't be ideal. But, obviously the budget has gone up for the Tier 1 side, so understandably they've got to, make sure they can make this feasible for the Tier 2 side as well. But, a lot of these Tier 2 teams are, certainly Tier 1 caliber players, and some of which will actually be in Tier 1 going forward anyway after they win the Ascension tournament. Now, I wanted to share this clip from you guys here from FNS. Thought it was a nice clip that Bodog put on Twitter last night, where he discusses, Valorant players, and the fact that if you're in a Tier 2 situation and you're getting trash talked by Tier 1 players, you need to be able to avoid that. Stop being so soft, stop taking it to heart, just brush off that criticism, because, yeah, more experienced players are going to trash talk you, but you've got to know when to just shut that out and try and prove them wrong.
No, because here's my advice to the players that genuinely took anything that I said in my streams to heart. When I was an up-and-coming player in Counter-Strike 1.6, I used to get talked by players that were gatekeeping the scene, which that's just going to happen. And I laughed and I made jokes with them, but I never took it personally. I never messaged them and said, hey man, you shouldn't have done this to said this to me, because that is a weak ass mentality if you're trying to compete in anything. You have to understand that people are going to talk to you, especially people who have achieved more than you, and that's okay. Who gives a It should not matter what me or anyone else has to say about you. You should have enough confidence in yourself, even if you look up to that person. Say you look up to me and I talk to you, you should still not matter what I have to say to you. Does not matter.
FNS clarifies here and says, yeah, I don't apologize for this. This is 100% my opinion and my belief. And even, Marved goes on to say this. FNS used to trash talk me at the beginning of Valorant, and I would talk trash straight back. 2 years later, he is my biggest fan. So again, Marved simply cannot stop tweeting at any of these NRG guys, especially FNS. But yeah, interesting history to look at here with Marved. The fact that, he was getting trash talked by FNS and others, he would clap back because, if you consider yourself to be on a par, at least in terms of ability, even when you are a tier 2 or below player with the top guys, then you're not going to, you're going to listen to their criticism, but if they're trash talking you for no reason, you're going to trash talk back, because if you were a pro in your mind, you would trash talk back to FNS if he was trash talking you, which is basically what Marved has done. And it wasn't long before he actually became that type of player, and then he was able to go on and compete with him and win with him and all that type of stuff. And even Valen from the Gant is a similar thing. I remember when I first joined Complexity, the amount of trash talk was insane, but maybe want to prove myself even more. So I thought it quite a nice statement there from FNS, and also the reactions from some of the pro players. And just a quick note before we close out the video here from Yay, having a lot of Valorant crashing issues over the last few days. Apparently this has been happening a fair bit since the chamber update, and as Tarek says, must be a bug. Someone always crashes on the other team whenever my team is stacked up, kind of weird stuff. And I thought this is kind of funny here from Chet from the NRG side, who basically says, yeah, might as well revert the patch, get rid of the chamber nerf, bring it back, and maybe rather optimistic in Ardis's ability there with their new lineup. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.